God, did it get hot in here all of a sudden?
I'm good. We can.
No.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
We are live.
Thank you. So keep part of it. Do they keep part of it?
We keep just the main part and they can have the.
They keep this part.
Yep.
Do they have to be there? Perfect. So
What's up, boy?
Education Foundation, we're raffling off a grill and two $300 meat bundles.
How much are the tickets?
$10 a piece or 3 for $20.
want some, let me know.
Oh,
Does this mean I'm ahead of the game?
you are ahead of the game. We sold the first ticket. Hannah, how many Education Foundation tickets do you want?
320.
Got them bundled in 20.
Right. It's a 3 for 20 or one.
We just sold
now.
20.
Just do 20 for now, and then if I can get more, does that sound good? I don't know. With 2 sets of 20?
You tell me.
Well, I don't know. How ambitious? I mean.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Nobody's already told 3 and we've only been
She didn't even try.
I know. Yeah.
Give me the 20 tonight. How's that sound?
over.
Please. Thank you.
You got 41.15.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for not being fair.
Can these be sold up to like that time?
Yeah.
Can they be sold to like halftime? Or is there-
Right up to halftime. I just have to have the other stuff by halftime.
These?
Yep.
Okay. Got you down, bud.
Thank you. It's a hard sell.
I really worked hard on that one. And do we just collect this and give it to you whenever?
Yeah. Don't give it to me now, because
It's locked in month.
oh,
You're not prepared yet?
I'm not prepared for that yet. Sure, it's gonna have everything ready to start this week.
Just told me it's gonna be a 3-hour meeting.
Oh, I was wondering if they had their presentations ready,
Yeah, presentation.
their opening statements ready.
Love to hear
I hadn't kind of nervous.
it. Me too.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Sales are all. Oh, that's my handwriting. That's the packet from last meeting.
Show.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Perfect. Been a while. I remember what it was.
No idea what you're talking
Yep, I can.
What's that?
Yeah.
This is the video.
On your pad.
Can you go ahead and share and try to ask you, so that she make sure it's, you know. I think that's the issue. With that, at least you give us the trail share and log in.
Yeah.
And that was there, right? So.
He's more primitive. To come back and defend it.
All right, guys, it is 6 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I need a motion to declare it an open meeting.
I'll make a motion to declare open meeting. Second.
Motion by Bobby, second by Hannah, voting Hannah,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Julia,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason, yes, we are in open session. We welcome our visitors to the meeting tonight. As per the law, the Board of Education does adhere to the Opens Meeting Act, and a copy of that act is posted to the, or on the wall to my right. This meeting has been properly advertised according to the policy and the Nebraska's Opens Meetings Act. We'll go ahead and review the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as published. Second.
Motion by Hope, second by Bobby. Hope, do you have any questions or comments?
I'm not.
Bobby, do you have any questions, comments? Any other board members have any questions or comments? We'll go right into voting then with Bobby.
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Julia,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason, yes, Hannah,
Yes.
motion carried unanimously. At this time, we'll open the floor to any visitors, for public comment. You guys are up. Who wants to go first? You're in that bite. No comment, okay. Well, having none, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to employment.
No recommendations at this time.
No recommendation, all right. With that, then we'll move to informative report, starting with our counselor's report. With Mrs. Blecka.
So our college visits we've gone on October 21st, we took a large group to Peru. That was the largest group I've had in a while. We had 14 students go. Their feedback was that they liked the atmosphere and that it wasn't that far from home. And then on November 5th, we went to UNL with the 9th grade with 21 kids. They did a really, really nice job. The feedback was that it's a big campus, but they like the rec center and the food and kind of all those amenities. On Wednesday, we have a long trip to UNK. That's my first time ever going to UNK, so looking forward to that. And then we also have K-State. Apply to College Day. That was great. We had an excellent turnout. It was one of our better ones. We had 25 college career military reps there. Really good feedback from the reps. That was like coming to Farm City. And then each student in grades 9 through 12, they got a 30-minute block of time to go to all the reps, ask questions. They won some great prizes. Seniors got a catered lunch, FAFSA presentation, and then they started all their applications. So the kids did fantastic. They were truly awesome that day. And then leadership teams, those kids have been super busy, kind of dividing and conquering all the things that they want to get accomplished. SEC registration, it began on October 27th. I met with all the kids, we got them registered for those classes, and then we have over 65 seats filled. With all of our kids taking dual credit, it's a combined 65 seats. CNA update, we had 8 PC students registered for that CNA class. We really worked their schedules, and classes were able to have it 8th and 9th hour, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Monday, Friday, the kids stay here and then they do their like the bookwork part of the class. So it's really great to have it during the day. They only have 2 Saturday classes. They don't have to come, they don't have to have class like from 4 to 9 at night. And then Kelsey Johnson is our instructor, and then AHEC, Area Health Education Centers, they are providing the materials for this class at no cost, like the uniform, the scrub top, the 2 books that they need, some gloves. So we get that covered, which is great. So glad to have that many kids wanting to do it too. So. What I have from the update. I don't have any questions or anything.
You had all grades, like high school, or what was it?
You have to be 16 at the time that you take your licensure. So we are looking at seniors, juniors, and then we have 1 sophomore
Gotcha.
who will be 16 at that time. So it kind of goes by age,
Sure.
and then kind of finagle their schedules from there.
Very good. Any questions?
Thanks.
Thanks, Ms. Welcome. Moving on to the pretzel list report. Mr. Ness, you're up.
Does everybody have what is like your icons, double things on you? So enrollment has stayed about the same. We have 1 new student starting, an additional 6th grader, so that makes us at 133 in the high school building. One thing to touch on, as part of our data review every year, we obviously go through our AQuest report. Some of you are more familiar than others, and AQuest is the report that we have every year that outlines our performance under the accountability system. And so it looks at things like our test scores, it looks at things like our attendance, lots of factors. The 24-25 report will come out on the 26th. It'll be public then. That was provided to schools a little bit in advance so we can review it. And we had a chance to review it this last week, and we met with Derek Ippison, who's one of the, I think he's the director for accountability with NDE. And he reviewed the report with us, and it was really, really interesting. There are some really good things that we can point to that are moving in the right direction, which is nice. There are a couple of things that we know we want to target our intent or our effort on. So it was really informative. That was a really beneficial plan. Just another update on rooms, since we're attempting to utilize that for communication. I think more of you than not, we've communicated with through rooms this year. We've got 94% of kids with at least 1 guardian that's activated a rooms account. So it's still hit and miss. I think that it's been really beneficial at times, like that one. Just got one from Cal's teacher right there. So it's been really beneficial when we want to communicate in real time. As a parent, I can say I've appreciated how our staff has utilized it for my boys in elementary. As a school employee, I really value being able to communicate in real time with families. If they get a little notification on their phone, I think that's a lot more visible than checking their email, so it's been really helpful, I think. An update on the HVAC work. So I don't remember if Mr. Evans had anything in here for that, but just an update as they've been continuing to work in high school. They've completed the work for the HVAC project. It was completed right before the end of October. We had the final visit this last week with the representative from Ruts. He met with Mr. Evans and I and April and Todd Lytle to kind of review how to run the system, which went really quickly because it's a lot easier to run than what we had before. So that went really smooth. It's run really well so far. Ruts is still working with the engineer on the project to make sure that our boiler system and the new system are cohesive, running together, which is really nice. Before we, it was always Todd Lytle's responsibility to come in and make sure things were flipped on when the temperature needed it or required it. And so now with this new system and our boiler system in high school, we can have things a little more automated. So we know this new system can turn off when it gets down to a certain temperature, hopefully to increase its lifespan, and also then turn on the boiler system, which we now have fully functioning and all the registers in the classrooms work. So far so good on that front. A welding update. I had SCC had reached out and it sounded like they'd maybe had a concern or complaint from someone local. So I just wanted, in case anyone here had heard anything, I just wanted to make sure that I was reporting the situation here. So there was a little bit of a delay at the beginning of the term for the welding courses we have for our welding certificate. I don't think it really could have been avoided with a new teacher coming in. The staff always get their instructional materials from SCC if they're teaching an SCC class. And just I think with a new teacher coming in and staff changes there, getting lined up with the right people, there was a little bit of delay getting the instructional materials that she needed. So that really, she has everything she needs. They've been up and running for a while. One of the concerns that they had asked me about was if we had sufficient material. They wanted to make sure that we had what we needed. We do, we have, it's been there. So no concern there. Also, the equipment's all still working well. We have a couple of small exceptions. I think the plasma cutter has a broken tip.
I just got that fixed.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay, so it does not have a broken tip. Thanks, Wyatt. And then there was a regulator on one of the OA. That's right. That's still broken.
So we only have two
on that.
We only have two running.
So we have a good number of kids in the welding classes and the OA class, specifically the oxyacetylene class. There's two systems that are running now because we're waiting on that piece for the third. So it was essentially a regulator on top of one of the tanks that I think just did it right. And it broke, so we had to order a new one. So the equipment is generally in good shape. All of our welders are in good shape. Just some of the small pieces that have needed replaced. So one thing I wanted to touch base on, and that's what these slides are. There were the small group of us. It was Mrs. A, Mrs. Pierce, myself, and then Dr. Gossman from the ESU that went to present at the Nebraska MTSS conference. So it was a state level MTSS conference. And this year it had an ELA focus on reading. We went and presented about more than reading because we've done a lot of work with math too. So our presentation, as the bottom slide shows there, was bridging the gap. So using HQIMs, which is just high quality instructional materials, and pairing that with an improvement or an intentional effort to improve your instructional strategies and how that's led to student success. So it was great to be able to do that. I was mostly in the background. Mrs. Pierce, Dr. Gossman, and Mrs. A have a lot of on the ground experience. So they shared the majority of the information. It was great to see a full room. It was at the Eunice Center in Kearney, and we had about 75 seats in our room, and they were all full. There were some people standing in the back, so it was nice. There were about 15 sessions going on when ours was, so people could have gone to other things. And what I thought was nice is worth bringing up here is there were a variety of Department of Education people that were present at the conference, and there were a lot of them that ended up in our session when they could have gone to others. And one of them came up to us afterward and said, if we could make a commercial for what we want to see in schools, we would show what you guys just did. And so it was really encouraging. Now, does that mean everything's great? There are a million things we could be doing every single day, but it did show that the work we were presenting on done. And so I wanted to point out a couple of things here. If you look on that second page, there's actually 3 slides there. I just didn't. Well, the first one is a opportunity scorecard, and that essentially is supposed to indicate if we are providing students with the opportunity to succeed. A lot of the work that we've done is based on the Opportunity Myth and Opportunity Makers books that are based on research. And they have basically said that the most important thing we can do for kids is provide them the structure and support and the high expectations to give them the opportunities to succeed. And that, for a long time, people have out of their heart made accommodations for kids, sometimes lowering the bar and inherently limiting their opportunities. So what you can see here is there's basically 2 lines. There's a line that has 127 as the first number, and then there's a line that has 138 as the first number. The top one is an average of other schools in the state of Nebraska that they collected data from when they did ours. So you can see that they spent 127 hours on grade appropriate assignments. 86 hours of strong instruction. They found that there were 75 hours worth of deep engagement with students and what they're learning. And based on their assessment of assignments and instruction that they evaluated in schools, there 42% of teachers had appropriately high expectations for their students. What we've seen now with the work that we've done, you can see our numbers are higher in every category. So we saw 138 hours on grade appropriate assignments. There's still a lot of room for improvement there, but it's definitely trended in the right direction. 120 hours of strong instruction, 82 hours of deep engagement, 62% with appropriate high expectations. So definite step in the right direction. The next slide is a chart, and I've heard Mrs. Pierce talk about this with as our DAC. She looks at all of our test scores pretty regularly, and she always calls this one the bury the diamond graph, and it just really helps make sense of what you're looking for. So basically that little yellow diamond is the projected growth based on grade level. So that's what we want to see from our kids. And then the blue bar is our actual measured growth. This is for, and so the idea is you want to bury the diamond in your blue bar, because if your blue bar exceeds the height of the diamond, then your kids are exceeding the projected growth that you'd want to see. And so as you can see here, we had from kindergarten through 5th grade, because this was a focus on elementary math right here is the one we used. We've seen, as a result of the math work, we've seen all of our classes bury the diamond, and 6th grade halfway there. And that's not normal. So that's not typical for us to see. That's not typical for a lot of schools to see. There's always a class or two that's got it, the diamond sitting up above the bar graph a little bit. So this was really encouraging. And then down here on the bottom, the next steps, this, as you guys already know, these are things we're already doing, but we're using a lot of these scores and these assessments to drive the PD schedule that we have for staff. We've spent time already this year improving our tier 2 and tier 3. We're continuing on ELA acceleration. This last year we made some changes at the middle school, high school level for special education. We're going to continue evaluating that, looking for areas to improve, be more efficient. Our strategic plan has continued to provide bumpers in the framework for a lot of this work. And the core teaching rubric is our evaluation tool that we've started to use. And the reason I bring these up is it's all cohesive. So all of these things are working together to help us continue to push things forward in the school. So like, for example, tomorrow, we have a principal cadre at ESU4, and it's just the principals of the schools in ESU4, and they do one of these every month. Well, the focus this time is on teacher evaluation. We're one of 2 schools that have already made the jump to this tool. And so I get to talk about this tomorrow and how we're using it here, because there are other schools that are interested in doing it. So I just wanted to point out a few things that have been happening lately. I didn't get a chance to be here at the last meeting, so there's a little bit of catching up to do. I deleted some things off the report, so it wouldn't get too long. But does anybody have any questions about any of this?
I appreciate that.
Sure. Awesome.
The other thing, one thing I had a question on the ACAT.
Yeah.
So is there like usually maintenance that'll be done and Rex will come in and do that to make sure we don't get, or like you had talked earlier about maintaining it for somebody's longevity?
Yeah. So one thing that I was really pleasantly surprised in is the maintenance seems much less than expected. So Rudd's reviewed the maintenance schedule with Todd and Rodney, and it's very manageable. So there's filters in each one of the indoor units that's in the ceiling of each classroom. Those need checked and possibly cleaned. They're reusable every 3 months. The outdoor units, essentially all they need is cleaned with water twice a year, so spring and fall. So they say the maintenance is pretty minimal. So
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
yeah.
Any more questions for Josh?
Do you mind just staying here? Yes, I'm gonna talk about the strategic plan, and
Okay.
I might want you to
Sure.
participate in that. Okay, just a few things. You have the audit from Julie Bauman at your place. She will be here, but she's not able to come until January. And so it's here for you to look over. I'd really like for you to bring it back in January And if that's an issue, you can leave it with us and we'll, you hold on to it here. So, I was very pleased, with the audit. It's a very clean audit. And so, it's there for you to take a look at. A few things I wanted to share with you. One is ATSI, and so that stands for Additional Targeted Support and Improvement. So Pawnee City is an ATSI school, and the reason for that is in 22-23, the scores for our certain populations, special education students, were quite a bit different than our regular education kiddos. And so we were a targeted school for improvement. I know myself and Jordan Amundson and Wendy, last name, Derek. Craig, thank you. Wendy Craig, who is our ESU4 Director of Special Education. Went to a conference and we worked on some information with that. And so it's just interesting because as Mr. Niss was talking about some of this information, it all kind of ties together. And this is an area we need to take care of. So in ESU4, it was only us in Nebraska City that were present at this meeting that had been identified from several years before, and we need to get this taken care of. One of the areas that we can do that in, of course, is assessment scores, but another area is chronic absenteeism. We can make a big difference by reducing that. And that goes into the AQuest information that Mr. Niss was talking about. So, I mean, all this information kind of ties together, but I wanted to make you aware of that. HAL stands for High Ability Learners. We have a couple of our staff members who were working on this, and this is information that is part of our strategic plan that we really need to get more in place as the year moves on. And so I anticipate bringing more information to you about HAL, High Ability Learners. So that is something that we should be bringing later on. I did want to share with you, we were approached by the new daycare about a partnership for providing food service for them. I've got to call into the State Department to find out if there are any issues with that. I don't know why there would be any issues with that. I know that it's done. I've got a contact made to do a contract for us to provide food service. Really, the way I see it, it would be good for the preschool and it would be good for our school both. It's a win-win. We don't get many of those. And so anyway, I'm pretty excited about being able to do that. Preschool information I wanted to share with you. So this is our policy on preschool. I think I shared that with the board. The issue that we're running into, and it sounds like Pawnee City has run into this, the 4 is the potential of having more than 20 qualifying students for preschool. And so then there's a formula within our policy as to how we decide who gets to be a part of that preschool. So what I wanted to just run by you, and as long as there are no objections from the board, I know Ms. Coffey worked on a letter to send out to actually find out how many kids are going to be applying to be a part of our preschool. So that's the plan at this point, is sharing that information, sending that out to the families that are identified on the census, and finding out just how many kiddos we're talking about for preschool for next year. ESU4 annual report, I included that in my information just for your information. They asked us to share that certification of the levy. And this, it's not any surprising information. This is exactly what we had in our budget. So I don't know what you do if it's not. So I'm glad that it is what we put in our budget. But I wanted to make sure that you had that information. Document code. Let's see. I did want to provide information. This is just information that the State Department provides about instructional materials and the importance of keeping them current. And so I wanted to provide that. We're looking at the ELA curriculum, and that's a big deal. It's going to be a big deal for us. It's going to be a big expense. We're going to do the best we can with grant money to rely on it, but I know that there will be a large contribution from the school district for that. Let's see. Strategic plan, I wanted to touch base on that, and that's kind of why I invite Mr. Niss to go ahead and jump in. We did a Zoom with the gentleman from Seward. He's their curriculum director, and I don't remember his name.
Dr. Dominic.
Thank you. But he helped you with the strategic plan. We have been running into some challenges with our groups in moving forward. And I think part of that is that I was not a part of this at the beginning. And I know he took some responsibility indicating that he should have been more involved in the implementation part of our plan. But what he advised us to do is, as administration, to work in identifying some different parts of the plan that we want our teams to work on. And then to collaborate with the team leaders on what that looks like or what that can possibly be. But we need to be more intentional about going in and working on this plan. And something that I regret we didn't share with our staff as they were beginning to work on this, that he mentioned was, well, we said, well, our teachers have kind of been in some cases going off and doing some things that aren't in the plan, but to try to support the goals that are in the plan. And he said, the information that's in the plan is what should be worked on. The information that is not in the plan is what should not be worked on. So it was kind of interesting. I think that there's some gray areas. If a team would bring something to us and we would want to include that in the plan, I think that that's something that could easily be done. Anything to add, Mr. Niss?
Maybe just a different way to say one part of that. So when we first started the strategic plan, really the idea was to kind of help focus, our actions at school and get it input. So it was more than just a couple people kind of deciding the path, right? But it was just as much about what we're not including as what we are including. So what we'd heard from other schools who had success with the strategic plan was that they were able to focus the people on their staff in the strategic plan in pursuit of the strategic plan goals, but also mainly administration then was responsible for kind of keeping everything else out, kind of eliminating some of the noise so you can focus on what is your priority. And so I think our goals are so, they are specific, but they're so wide reaching. If you look at our goals, it covers essentially every aspect of school operations. So really trying to be very specific within that, I think is something we didn't do very well at the beginning. And so now what we believe we need to do, and maybe you're going here next, Mr. Evans, but what we believe we need to do now is we need to go back into each one of these let's get the words mixed up, action statements, which we have the 5, that's what the committees are based on it, the 5 statements. And there's action steps within each one, 7 to 9. And we really need to look at who to assign those to. We've got committees that are responsible for each of these action statements. And now within there, are there things that are specific to admin, specific to maybe a school board committee, specific to a certain group of staff members, whatever it happens to be. So that seems like a very appropriate next step that we believe we're going to take.
Yeah, thank you. Something else I wanted to just point out, I mentioned chronic absenteeism is something that we can work on. That's in action statement number 4. And so there's a lot of the action statements that really align with some of the things that we've been working on. I'm on action statement number 5 here. Continue to improve and evaluate the LA curriculum. Well, we're on that right now. And then continue to improve and evaluate the math curriculum that's been ongoing. plan for special education student performance. That goes to the ATSI designation that we have. So the plan is really well done. And the areas are there. We just need to be strategic about how we focus our efforts and how we have our committees working on this information.
Remind me what the CTE program is.
Career and tech education.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Yeah, that just
Sorry.
encompasses your, I get that they, business classes, anything in that current technical ed category.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I think that's everything that I had for my report.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Excuse me. All right, next on our list is reporting from the strategic plan committees, and looks like we have an update from the culture committee.
Hello. I am one of the leaders on the school culture committee with Lisa.
That's not the current ones.
No, it's under tab number 2 corner.
Is that correct? Should look like it. Yeah. That's not it.
It's close though. We were talking about those things on there. So we took just that information from our group and we chose to focus on, if you scroll down, our action statements are split up. So we went through and decided what things were most important. So we chose to focus on action statement number 1, which was building a strong staff culture. So to gain better understanding, we don't have any survey data about kind of what staff are feeling. So Laura and Dawn decided they're going to develop and distribute the staff survey, so we can get a better knowledge of how staff is feeling, what are perceptions, ideas they have moving forward to get more staff on board. So then we'll look at that and identify kind of where we need to improve from there. The next action statement is goal number 3, and we're going to focus on promoting staff connection. We had our we had an event to start the school year off at the golf course. We had a lot of people come. How are you? It was a lot. It's right. It's packed house. We'll say that. We played bingo and everyone had fun. People brought their kids. It was a fun experience. Then we had another event here for the playoff game. We joined in the lunchroom and we put on the screen. We had about 20 staff members come in. We had popcorn and things like that, and it's kind of just a fun event to bring people in and get people together. We have some other events we would like to kind of focus on. Somebody mentioned they used to have a cornhole tournament. At the end of a PD day, they would meet really quick and just do a quick cornhole tournament to bring everyone in. We had some just concerns, questions. One of them was for you guys. How would you like to be included and involved in these with our culture committee? I don't know.
I don't know what to think about it.
I know you guys have like committees already. Are you guys split up into all of our committees? I don't know how that works.
No.
Okay.
You're not split.
No, thank you. Like, supposed to
Got it.
We're with the sheets or as part of the. Anyways.
Okay.
Facilities, building grounds, Mr. Evans might have that, but there's still, all the board members and superintendent were on the one committee regarding school facilities, et cetera. But I don't believe any more than two
Okay.
ever had any interest in to that point.
So if you guys, would like to be involved, let us know and we can get you on that. And when we meet, we can we'd like all the involvement we can. Another one was just kind of as a group, we were trying to go through, just identify some expectations and guidelines, how to start these culture. I know at the last school board meeting, you guys kind of talked about culture is a lot of things. That's kind of what our group right now is. We're kind of struggling with like, what type of culture should we focus on? There's a lot of different things in those action statements. So that's kind of where we're at as a group. We're just kind of working together and working through it. Yeah, we're going to work on those two things. So is there any questions?
So,
From a good start.
How often do you guys meet?
Just when we have those PD days, it was like about once every month-ish, on and off.
How long are your meetings? One hour usually? 3.
They're usually, it's towards the end of the day, I'd say like 1:30, 2:00. I don't think we have the next one until January. It's not there. They're usually about an hour, so we like to just go through and see, kind of check off items like who's done what so far, who needs help, kind of divide and conquer. We've hit every action item on our list, from last time that everyone's done, then we go on to the next thing. I think our next one will be looking at this survey results and see kind of we're steering in the right direction, or we need to change our path a little bit and focus on something different.
do you guys think they're beneficial, or what do you mean?
I think they are. I think, like you guys just talked about, we need like a little more guidance on where to go. We come up with a lot of ideas, but there's a lot of hard questions like, is there funds for this? Do we have, like, how do we put on events? How do we get more people involved? If we want to do things, for the group, do we have the money for it? Or who do we contact?
Right.
So I think there's a lot of just little things that need worked out, but I think we're on the right path for sure.
You think it would be helpful to have one of us, on the board? To be present, in something.
I think it would provide guidance and maybe some clarification on where you guys want us to go with it too. You guys are also in part of it. Like you guys were there that night, you got to vote and be a part of it. So we would like to keep you guys a part of it if you're available.
Do you have a date for the January one?
That's what it's.
I don't know.
If you don't at this very moment, that's okay.
It's on the for this.
Yeah, but I don't know if we had something scheduled for the January for committees to meet.
So that first day before school is actually back. And kids.
It was just the 20th. It says all staff. But Mr. Evans can let you know when we get a date scheduled.
That'd be great.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ms. Coffin. The
Yeah,
next,
we do have that scheduled for January 19th, so
Okay.
1:00 is when the strategic planning committees are scheduled to take place.
A majority of the staff involved in a committee
Yes.
with Mr. Stupin.
Yeah, and one of the challenges that we have run into is that, with our paraeducators, we have made it voluntary, we've made it optional for them to work on those days. If they've got work to do, to come in and work, and they haven't all been here, and so that means typically that they're not at those meetings. So that is a big loss or a big gap, I think, from input that we have for
Absolutely.
those meetings.
Okay.
That's one of the challenges we faced.
Any more questions, comments? All right, the next on our list is the Buildings and Grounds Committee.
We had a meeting. I don't know if any of you want to share information from that meeting. I know one of the things that we took a look at was some of the pictures of the structure at the middle school, high school. We had a company that does tuck pointing come in at the middle school, high school. They identified a lot of areas that could need help. And so that's one thing that we had a conversation about. We also went up on the roof with that company and took a look around, and I would like to get a company to come in. I thought they would come back and give me a proposal and heard from them about going up and weatherizing the existing roof. There's areas up there that we noticed that really need to have caulking or something done to them to if we're having issues at the middle school, high school with water coming in. I think we need to get that taken care of first before we start taking a look at tuck pointing. But there are some areas to really be concerned about. If you look at the entryways, there's a metal piece up above the entryway. If you take a look at that, that's one of the areas that they first noticed when they were looking at the building. And if you take a close look at some of the mortar, especially up high in different areas, things were looking kind of rough. So anyway, we also talked about the track at that time. And that's why that's on the agenda, was the recommendation from the Building and Grounds Committee. Anything else to report?
I think the tuck pointing opened my eyes even bigger, just at the amount of work and the need of the buildings that will need to be addressed.
Is there a lot of areas?
Well, they brought up a lot, and of course, when you're a company that does that, they see a lot of those areas. So they talked like they could easily spend 3 months there. And probably not address everything that they had on their list.
When was our building built? Anybody know?
1931.
Thank you.
Just curious.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's it.
All right. That finishes up our informative reports, and we'll move on to the new business. Consider approving the board's evaluation of Mr. Evans as presented. I sent that all out to you guys, for you guys to look at. I'm gonna sit down with Mr. Evans on Monday or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember. And we went through everything. There wasn't anything that I was too worried about. I think we're on track for a good school year with Mr. Evans. I'm glad he's here. One of the key words that stood out in most of the comments was transparency, and I think we all appreciate how well you communicate everything to us, and right or wrong or indifferent, we appreciate having that information. So we just need a motion to approve his evaluation as it was presented.
Make a motion to approve this superintendent evaluation as presented. Second.
Motion by Hope, second by Bobby, seconded by Bobby. Any other further discussion from anybody?
No.
And we'll go ahead and we'll vote, Hope,
Yes.
Julia,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason, yes, Hannah,
Yes.
and Bobby.
Yeah.
Motion approved unanimously. Consider the purchase of a new mower.
Okay. So we have 3 proposals here. The older mower that we have has recently started losing a lot of oil and has started with a lot of engine noise. And so we're fairly certain that the engine is not good. That engine was replaced in 2022. It's a John Deere by Heritage Tractor. It's kind of disappointing we didn't get more than 4 years out of it. So I know at that time it cost $5,000 to put the new engine in. I talked to the service gentleman today and asked him to give me an idea of what it would cost to put a new one in now. And of course he was non-committal, but I said, is 6,000 close? If it was 5,000 in 2022, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but I got the idea that you'd be lucky to get it done for 6. And so, I think we look at a new one. Todd Lytle got 3 quotes. With looking at another John Deere, looking at an Exmark out of Beatrice, and then the Grasshopper that was from Bruna in Humboldt, who would be able to service it if we needed to service it. They gave us a bid of $12,600 on a new one. They had a demo model that had 150 hours on it that they would say $11,000 for, which I don't think, in my opinion, they didn't knock enough off the price of the new one. That's kind of my opinion on that. So I think you probably go with the Grasshopper. I don't know of anybody local who works on mowers.
I think it's nice to support local, which you do, and like you said, the big ones already.
Well, they're relatively close.
And Exmark, we were considering, I know Todd's confident in that being a good mower, but they don't have a place that services it. They sell them in Beatrice, but there's not a place to service it.
Did Todd have a preference between the 3 or leaning one way or the other?
He thought the Grasshopper was the best deal. And
You said the one that we currently have is a John Deere.
yes. So we have 2 of them. You bought one more recent and this one. And I don't remember what brand it is. So we do have a new one.
You sure it was a Grasshopper?
Was it? Okay.
You sure it was a Grasshopper?
Too. You want a motion?
Thank you, motion.
So I will make the motion to purchase the grass mower as presented.
Second,
A motion by Hope and a second by Hannah. Hope, do you have any other questions or comment? Hannah?
no,
Did you say there was any trade-in value at all or anything like that?
No, I asked them that, and no, they're not interested.
Even with the Heritage John Deere one, as far as.
I didn't ask Heritage. I could reach out and ask them, because that's
That's not a very long time. You said, 4 years, is that what you said? Oh,
That was just a motor replacement.
Yeah, the engine.
It wasn't the.
still, that's not a very long time. As long as service has been kept up on it. So,
I did ask Bruna about the trade-in, but I didn't ask Heritage if they were interested in purchasing.
what kind of warranty these come?
1 year on the motor, on the engine.
It's terrible.
that's all I was thinking.
Any other board members have any questions, comments? All right, we'll go ahead and we'll vote with Julia.
Yes.
Mark?
That's,
Sorry,
yes.
Jason, yes. Hannah?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Hope?
Yes.
Motion for the. Consider increasing fitness center fees.
So this was a conversation, that kind of occurred with our, tour of the fitness center. Our existing fees are, $80 a year, $20 a quarter, for a family, and single is 60. This proposal, and I just threw this out here, was I doubled it, is what it is. So family cost is 160 a year, and single is 120 a year. Those can be adjusted. And I tried to look around at areas, communities and see what they had. I wasn't able to find a lot online. Um, I know I saw Sabetha's and it was considerably higher than that. But I assume we would be competitive. But I don't know that for sure because I didn't find that information available online.
Even Humboldt's quite a bit more than we can.
Humboldt is,
I can ask you if you
Okay.
want, but I think 160 for a year for a family is still really.
I mean, you'd be paying, if you were in Lincoln, you'd be paying that a month
Right.
to go.
Well, I'm just, for 2 months.
Right.
Mhm,
Okay.
exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
I know visiting with Mr. Niss, we talked about if somebody had already bought a membership and it extends, to next June or whatever, we would honor that.
Sure.
Grandfather that in until
Till
it's
they're
renewal time for them.
Yep.
Are they not
Right.
like January to December?
It's whenever you get it, you get a full year.
Well, from that point.
We're being a lot here about it.
Well, if you like prorate, with the next, but that's also more work than.
Anything else to add, Mr. Niss?
At the current rates, we've been able to maintain equipment. And we've had a couple of new pieces that were relatively expensive, but it took years to save for those. I think with the rate as suggested here, I think it's still very reasonable for our families, our community members to be able to use it. But it'll give us an opportunity to keep the equipment better updated and make minor improvements that now, after a few years, the business center is starting to need. So.
I'll make a motion to increase the fitness center fees as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hannah, second by Hope. Hannah, any other questions or comments? Hope?
No.
Any other board members have any questions or comments before we vote? Going to the vote then, Mark?
Yes.
Jason, yes. Hannah?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Hope?
Yes.
And Julia?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Approve the RFP for the track proposal.
So I have an RFP here that is, I'm fairly confident in, and we have the ability to reject any and all bids. And so if something isn't right in it, we would have the ability to do away with any bids. I would suggest sending it out to 3 different companies. I would anticipate this is a $70,000 to $80,000 project. I talked with the company that put the track in about doing it, asked them if there was any challenges, because I have a penalty in here for if they're beyond August 15th. I learned that the hard way. And so there needs to be something in there. And the gentleman I talked with said, if you're able to do this on this timeline, if you're able to approve at the December 3rd meeting and give us that kind of heads up on it, the timeline should be doable for any company.
Good.
You need a motion to send it out the quote. So moved.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Bobby. Mark, do you have any questions or comments?
Nope.
Bobby?
No.
Any other board members have any questions or comments before we vote? Starting with the vote, Jason, yes. Hannah?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Hope?
Yes.
Julia?
Yes.
And Mark?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Consider approving the following education foundation expenses. $1,500 grant scholarship per student, not to exceed $52,500 for the 2028 Washington DC trip. That is for up to 35 students. And up to $600 to purchase meat to be included for our grill and meat raffle bundle fundraiser. If we are unable to secure donations, that would be for two $300 bundles. I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Jason, second by Hannah. I have no further question. Hannah,
No, I don't.
any other board members?
Just out of curiosity, what if there's more than 30? Like, do you just split it up amongst the 36 students?
There were more than 35. I would be confident that the Education Foundation would come back and be able to because how many
The numbers from the previous trip and it was like 31. I can't remember what
I
it
can't
was.
remember
It was
sure,
low
but-
30s.
Okay,
how many do we have as of right now?
We were just talking about that. We haven't got anything updated off this week, but I believe that one other student had just signed on, so I think there are 9 full-time spots still.
is there a limit on how many kids can go?
No, no. I think they told us last time, however many kids want to pay to go, they'll take them. But what they did tell us was that it was challenging because there's cooking, right?
Like, yeah.
For a
to get
bus.
us to-
And so it's like 54, they would have concerns logistically.
Sure.
So they said if it's like 63, then they would take care of transportation by not even stripping in what the grades.
Yeah.
But the only part that would be challenging is if we were just over capacity for the bus they bring.
I was just curious, I didn't know how those numbers worked.
This comes out of the foundation.
Right. That's curiosity.
Any other questions, comments? Buy raffle tickets? All right, going to vote. Hannah,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Julia,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason, yes, motion carried unanimously.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I was thinking,
Motion by Bobby, second by Julia, no comments. Bobby,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Julia,
yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason, yes, Hannah.
Yeah.
We are adjourned at 6:55 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bring them up,